What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Dylan back here for another video, and today is part 2 of the Which NFL Team is Better series for the NFC side of the playoffs. Yesterday, I released the Seahawks and the Cowboys one, so if you have not checked that out, go check that one out as well. But today, I am talking about the Eagles and Bears matchup. You already know how this goes down. I talk about which team has the better quarterback, running back, wide receiver, etc. Today, I've taken out the kickers to include the head coaches, so we still have 9 categories. And also, this does not mean that whoever wins this kind of matchup, or whoever wins this, which NFL team is better statistically, is going to win the game. That it does not imply that. Go check out our Eagles-Bears preview in order to see who I actually think is going to win this game. So with all that said and done, let's go ahead and get into this video. All right, so we have, first up, our quarterback matchup. We have Nick Foles for the Eagles, 141 completions on 195 attempts for a 72.3 completion percentage, 1,413 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks. And then we have Mitchell Trubisky for the Bears, 289 completions for 434 attempts, 66.6 completion percentage, 3,223 yards, 24 touchdowns, 12 picks, to go along with 68 rushes, 421 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I'm going to give it to Nick Foles here, and I know people are going to be like, oh, you can't be serious, Nick Foles hasn't been starting, whatever. The thing is, we're in playoff mode, and Nick Foles has been extremely clutch over the last 2 years. I do not understand it. In these kind of scenarios where it's win or go home, Nick Foles is the man. He is the man. And you have to go by track record here. I mean, Nick Foles has been able to get it done in this kind of situation, and Mitchell Trubisky has not really had this situation. This is his first playoff game, and it's a close matchup. I know Trubisky played most of the season, I think 13 or 14 games, and Nick Foles has only played like 5 regular season games, but based on the track record that we have here in the even matchup already, I got to go Nick Foles. He won the Super Bowl last year, he's in this playoffs this time around, and Trubisky's not like an amazing quarterback for me to pick over Nick Foles. So I know people are going to be a little bit heated about that, but I got to go Nick Foles here. All right, so now we have the running back comparison for both teams. For the Eagles, they're going to be using Josh Adams and Darren Sproles. Josh Adams, a little bit over 500 rushing yards, and Darren Sproles has been hurt for most of the year, but he's getting a couple of catches since his return. And then for the Bears, we have Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. Howard, 935 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns. Tariq Cohen, 444 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 71 receptions, 725 receiving yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns. And he also has a passing touchdown this year. How about that? The winner of this one, no question, is the Bears. You look at the Eagles side of the ball, they just do not rely on the run game ever since J.J. got hurt. Like, it has not been consistent. They use Corey Clement, who's out for the year as well. Josh Adams, who wasn't even drafted, he's had to be the primary running back. Darren Sproles comes back in, and I like Darren Sproles, but I mean, the run game for the Eagles has just not been there for a long time this season. Meanwhile, the Bears flourish on having these guys in the running back department. I mean, Jordan Howard has been really good, a solid running back. He's going to get you those good touchdowns. He's had some really good runs over the course of the year. You'd like the production that Jordan Howard has had. And then Tariq Cohen, who's a very small guy. You don't think he's going to rush a whole lot. He didn't even have 100 total rushes this year, but it's what he does in the receiving game that makes him a great running back. Just like a guy kind of like Christian McCaffrey. I know McCaffrey can run as well, but he's going to get those receptions. He's going to be able to be a dual threat, and that's what Cohen does, and he had a lot of good success being a receiving back, and 5 touchdowns to go along with it, receiving, and then he also threw a passing touchdown, so that's pretty good stuff there. No question about this one. Bears win the running back category. Next up, we have the receiver comparison for both teams. For the Eagles, we have Alshon Jeffrey, 65 catches, 843 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Golden Tate, 30 receptions, 270 yards, and 1 touchdown with the Eagles. And Nelson Aguilar, 64 catches, 736 yards, and 4 touchdowns. For the Bears, we have Allen Robinson, 55 catches, 754 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Taylor Gabriel, 67 catches, 688 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Anthony Miller, 33 receptions, 423 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He is a red zone threat, you know what I'm saying? But the Eagles are going to win this category. They just have a little bit more talent. I know Allen Robinson was obviously a big free agent signing for them. He was very big for the Bears. And he's been good this year. He's been pretty decent, but overall, I got to go with the Eagles. Alshon Jeffrey has been a big threat, especially for a guy like Nick Foles. Nick Foles loves Alshon Jeffrey for some reason. Nelson Aguilar has been pretty good. You know, he had that bounce back here in 2017. He did pretty good for himself here in 2018. And Golden Tate has been fitting into this offense pretty well as of late, and I can see him doing a little bit of damage in this game. But I just think overall the talent there is really solid. I mean, Gabriel and Miller, they're good receivers. Miller's being that red zone threat that I just mentioned. But I think there's just a little bit more talent coming in the way of the Eagles receivers, especially with a guy like Alshon Jeffrey, who, oddly enough, used to play for the Bears. So it's going to be an interesting matchup there. But statistically speaking, you see what Jeffrey can do and all these other talented guys for the Eagles. I just got to pick the Eagles, but just slightly. Next up here, we have the tight end comparison, which I didn't do for the Cowboys-Seahawks. I included the kickers in that one, but I'm not including them here. Zach Ertz for the Eagles, 116 catches, 1,163 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And Trey Burton for the Bears, 54 receptions, 569 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Look, I feel bad for Trey Burton. He had a good season. He had a decent season at tight end, but Zach Ertz, oh my God. I mean, you look at these stats. Most receptions by a tight end in NFL history, really good yards. You got more touchdowns than Trey Burton. It's pretty simple here. Now, Nick Foles has not been like the most favorable to Zach Ertz. It was all about him and Carson Wentz, but Zach Ertz has been the better tight end. No doubt about this one. All right, now we have the offensive lines for both teams. For the Eagles, we have Jason Peters, Isaac Seumalo, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Jason Kelce, Brandon Brooks, and Lane Johnson. For the Bears, we have Charles Leno Jr., James Daniels, Cody Whitehair, Kyle Long, and Bobby Massey. The Bears have some pretty good offensive linemen, especially Kyle Long, Cody Whitehair. I really like those guys in particular, but I got to go with the Eagles. This line is very solid. It's a top 5 line in the league. Jason Peters, you know his veteran leadership. He's very good. Jason Kelce at the center. Ooh, I mean, you know what he can bring to the table. And Lane Johnson. I mean, I know he's having fun. That's a good thing, but he really knows how to play his position pretty well. So overall, I mean, those 3 guys right there, and Brandon Brooks. I mean, good Lord. And Seumalo is about to take his starting position back to left guard. So that's something new to be added here. But look at those 4 guys that I just mentioned. Peters, Kelce, Brooks, and Johnson. I mean, they got to equate to one of the better offensive lines in the game. And I think they showed it this year. Again, the Bears have good talent, especially Long and Whitehair. But all those guys that I mentioned make the Eagles one of the better offensive lines in the game. And it makes them the better of the 2 teams. All right, now it's time to talk about defense. We're at the defensive line position for both teams. For the Eagles, we got Michael Bennett, Haloti Naha, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. Those are the 4 guys you're going to most likely see on the defensive line. And then for the Bears, it's a little bit controversial. I put Khalil Mack and Leonard Floyd in this category because you see them on the line more than linebacker, especially Khalil Mack. He's been on the line, so I included him on this category along with Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman. I got to go with the Bears. I mean, I know people are going to be like, well, look at those names that you mentioned for the Eagles. They're very, very solid. But if you looked at that Bears defensive line, I mean, it was fantastic. First off, Khalil Mack. Oh, my goodness. This guy was just bull rushing offensive linemen, pushing them down like it was nothing. Like he was pushing down middle schoolers. It was ridiculous how he got off the line. It was insane. He would be defensive player of the year if Aaron Donald didn't exist. I mean, this guy is absolutely fantastic. One of the best seasons for a Bears defender ever. Yeah, I said that. Akeem Hicks, very good job. I was really impressed with what he brought in 2018. Very happy to see him have that success. Eddie Goldman did pretty well. And Leonard Floyd is a nice, versatile piece that you can have here as well. So, I mean, you look at those guys, they're just very, very talented. And give credit to the Eagles defensive line. They did good as well this year, and they were very hyped coming into the year, but overall, I mean, with that addition of Khalil Mack, it just puts the Bears over the edge on this one. So, taking the Bears in this category. All right, now we're at the linebacker crews for both teams. For the Eagles, we had Jordan Hicks, Nigel Bradham, and Kanu. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. And then for the Bears, we have Danny Trevathan and Roquan Smith. I'm going to go with the Bears on this one. Danny Trevathan is a pretty experienced linebacker. He's been in this league for many years. I really like what he brought in 2018. He was one of the more underrated pieces of this defense. He made plays across the field. You're like, okay, there's Danny Trevathan. He's making plays. He's still out there doing well, and you got to give him credit for that. And Roquan Smith, a top 10 pick in the draft this year. He is a defensive beast. When he is on there, he's given an opportunity to shine. He can shine because he is a fantastic linebacker. You saw it in Georgia. He was so good in college, and then coming here in his first year, I know he was getting outshined by guys that were playing linebacker position on his own team, but he is still very athletic and a guy you got to look forward to. And again, not a bad group of linebackers over there on the Eagles side, but you got a veteran leader like Danny Trevathan and a youngster like Roquan. I'm taking that and riding it to the bank. So I'm going to go with the Bears on this one. All right, now we have the secondary for both teams. For the Eagles, we have Sidney Jones, Rasul Douglas, Malcolm Jenkins, and Avonte Maddox. And for the Bears, we have Kyle Fuller, Prince Amukamara, Adrian Amos, and Eddie Jackson. This one is a no-brainer. I mean, absolutely no-brainer. The Bears are winning this one. They, I think, might have the most talented secondary in the NFL. I said it. Kyle Fuller is a really good football player, a really good lockdown corner. He's going to get all in your face. Prince Amukamara, he's been around the league. You know, he was with the Giants and he had his struggles, but he has been a well-put-together player for the Bears. Adrian Amos, that safety position that he plays, I just love seeing what Adrian Amos can do. He has been a big part of that defense. And Eddie Jackson, whoa, this guy has been litty in 2018. I mean, scoring all those touchdowns, having the great interceptions. He is, I think, the best safety in the game this year. He played tremendous football. So all that talent with Fuller, Amukamara, Amos, and Jackson, they have to win this category, no question. And this would be going against the Eagles' best secondary. They don't even have their best secondary. Most of their guys are out. Like Malcolm Jenkins is the one guy you would count on. Sidney Jones maybe because he was that second-round draft pick. But, I mean, they have had injuries across the board in their secondary all year. It has been a huge problem. So even if they were healthy, I would still pick the Bears. But without them, I mean, good Lord, the Bears sweep the floor on the secondary. So love the talent the Bears have here on the secondary side. It is absolutely tremendous to watch. All right, we're tied 4-4 going into our final category, the head coach. Is Doug Peterson a better head coach, or is Matt Nagy a better head coach? I gave Foles the benefit of the doubt because he had a better track record. I have to do the same for Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson is the better head coach. Here's why. I mean, he went in there last year, knew the situation that he had. He didn't have Carson Wentz. He had to understand that the Eagles really wanted a Super Bowl. Like, they're the number one seed. They really want a Super Bowl in Philly. He was able to get it done. He was able to lead this group of talent, a really talented team last year, but still had to coach them up, realize that Nick Foles was the quarterback. He's playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl and beat them in the Super Bowl. And you got to take that over a guy that hasn't had this opportunity. Now, granted, can Matt Nagy take him over? Absolutely. Things can happen. But I got to give the track record, just like I did for Foles, I got to give the track record for Peterson. Now, Matt Nagy, he's a really good head coach. He should be up for Coach of the Year, honestly. He came from Kansas City as an offensive coordinator, took a 5-11 team and made them 12-4, improved their offense tremendously, and overall just made them a way better football team. So give Matt Nagy the credit that he deserves, but based on that track record and winning a Super Bowl the way that the Eagles did last year, you got to give it to Doug Peterson. So that's how I feel about that. And that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button. Comment below. Am I right? Am I wrong? I know the Seattle Seahawks and Dallas Cowboys won. Got a lot of conversation in there, and that's cool. I enjoyed those comments. I enjoy looking at them and responding to them. So comment below. Do you think there was a certain category I was wrong in, or do you have an analysis on somebody on the team that I didn't get into as much? Go ahead and comment that down below. And subscribe to The Bottom Line View. The growth over the last couple of days has been tremendous. We really do appreciate it. It has been awesome to see that number continue to grow. So if you have not joined our family, go ahead and subscribe to The Bottom Line View. We put out great football content on the daily. We are in our grind mode right now because it is the playoffs. I released my Which Team is Better Cowboys Seahawks yesterday. You got this video from me. We uploaded all those previews for the wild card weekend. Tomorrow night, I am going to be live streaming with Mr. Kevo for the Cowboys-Seahawks game. I'm very excited for that. And Mitch has got a lot more content on the way for you guys as well. So you do not want to miss the Bottom Line View right now. It has been fuego the last couple of days. It's going to get even more fire from here. So thank you guys for watching. Dylan, peace out.